I'm Dave Mader. Welcome to Live Long and Podcast. We are covering tonight Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 5, The Saints of Imperfection. I'm joined tonight by my lovely wife, Jane.
Hello.
And my friend, Tyrone. Welcome.
Hello.
This is his first time on the show. We are without Jeff and Josh this week. They are playing hockey. Much like Tom Paris and Harry Kim, they're occupied with the quick game there. So, anyway, we're covering this new episode tonight. This is exciting to have a new panel.
This is my first time paneling.
I've never podcasted before.
I have not, no.
It's an exciting thing. Let's get into the recap of the episode. How about it?
All
Sounds good.
So, with the cold open, the teaser, if you will, we have Michael Burnham. She's running through the ship. She's distressed. Sylvia Tilly's in trouble, or she's been enveloped by this goo, this goblin, this pod, this cocoon, as they come to call it in this episode. She gets in engineering. Paul Stamets looking really sad. You know, she's standing over this cocoon. So she goes back to her quarters, hoping that Stamets can save the day. That's kind of where it leads. So we get this kind of Grey's Anatomy style voiceover from Michael Burnham.
I thought that as well.
There are many words in our life. Officer, orphan, widower, friend, shipmate. Soliloquy.
I tend to tune that out in Grey's. It doesn't work for me.
But you're a Grey's fan.
I am, but Meredith talking like that, I don't even listen to her.
But would you say that is reminiscent of such things?
I definitely thought. More towards the end, I really noticed it. It was very Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, they kind of bookend the episodes with these two voiceovers.
The sum up for those who weren't paying attention.
A lot happened in this episode because, right when you get out of this voiceover, boom, Burnham's called to the ship. She's kind of distracted by, where's Tilly? Is she dead? Is she alive? We don't know. At this point, they track down Spock's shuttle, and Pike's trying to hail him, trying to get a hold of the shuttle, trying to talk him down. The ship is arming weapons and phasers and not responding to hails and everything else, so they try to bring them in. Eventually, they're able to bring them in, and
I thought it was a really cool shot of, whatever they use, a phaser or cannon.
A
torpedo.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, they
the
blow it
shot
up,
of that.
right?
I thought that was really cool.
Because they had to keep him from going into the nebula where all bad children go to hide from Starfleet.
Yeah, it looked like they were going into the Badlands.
Yes.
A little bit, right? Like something like that.
It's where everybody runs to.
Yeah, once you're in the nebula,
It can't be found.
You can't be found in a nebula. It's just a cloud, though, isn't it? Really,
it plays havoc with the sensors.
It plays havoc with the sensors, especially the Mutara.
Right, yes,
they bring it in. It's not Spock. It is Philippa Georgiou.
But again, they did it to us again. We think we're going to see Spock, and we don't.
No, they're building the anticipation. Quite a. I don't know if it's effective, but they are drawing this thing out
until the badass Vulcan martial artsery.
Yeah. So we've kind of seen ahead in the season that when we will finally see Spock, and it's Gregory Peck's grandson, I believe, playing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I forget his first name. Then we're going to see more of that Vulcan kung fu that we saw last season with Sarek when he was in the dream state, or when he was in that coma when he was trapped on that ship. Remember how Michael Burnham had to go in and they had to do the whatever that was. So I think we're going to get a little bit more of that this season, where we're going to see Spock turn in. What did you said? Kind of turn into Jason Bourne.
Yes, the Jason Bourne of Vulcans.
Maybe he's going to see the vision of this Red Angel.
Yeah, or there'll be some kind of deeper Starfleet conspiracy, because they'll have to explain away why he's done that. Yeah. It is completely out of character.
I also thought when they were chasing him, it kind of reminded me of, was it the Menagerie or whatever, when Spock was trying to save Pike. Yeah. He's like, oh, he did that again. Or he did it before.
So maybe this is the time that Pike saved Spock, and that's why Spock's even more dedicated to return the favor.
Yeah.
Years and years later. So it's Mirror Georgiou. Michael, they all have their phasers up. Michael won't put hers down. No one thinks this is weird.
No, much to Pike's consternation.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know about this, but okay.
Yes.
And then, he apparently knows her. Pike knew Georgiou from
the academy
in younger days.
Drinking buddies,
yes. and they know each other's reputations, yes. I suppose. But Georgiou doesn't really seem to know him.
No.
Even though presumably she would, because there is a reference to Mirror Pike in the original Mirror episode. Because when Kirk and Spock and McCoy and Uhura, they show up in the Mirror universe, they get on the computer of the Enterprise and they say, tell us about ourselves here. And I remember they give Kirk's biography, and Kirk became the Enterprise captain by assassinating Mirror Pike. They give that little bit of the computer gives that detail. So presumably Pike is one of her captains, Georgiou's captains from the Mirror universe, presumably. I would think so.
I would imagine, yeah.
So we're left with kind of this mystery. How did Georgiou get on Spock's shuttle?
And why in the hell was she on Spock's shuttle running?
And why was she running away?
Yes.
That's not explained in this episode.
No. With the Section 31 ship cloaked nearby.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
It makes no sense.
Because by the end of the episode, we're kind of led to believe, okay, Section 31, not as much of a clandestine group, more of a black ops.
Definitely not.
Yeah, like not as the secretive group that we all thought it was. We kind of were given the details here early in the episode that Pike's aware of Section 31.
Everyone is.
Everyone
Everyone that brings it up knows
what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not as secret as it was always portrayed to be. So that's a huge retcon.
Yep.
Well, they probably, going through from this time period into more of the Kirk time period. Maybe they've gone more underground because maybe they're stopping doing the nation building. That nation building thing from Cornwall made me go, really?
Yeah, that line. Yeah, we'll come back to that line when we get to that part. But I did make a note of that. I was like, nation building, huh?
That sounds very CIA. I don't like it.
Yeah, like interfering. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Section 31 and what it stands for, but the admirals disagree. They kind of see it as a necessary
evil,
evil, if you will. Even in that that episode of Deep Space Nine, where they go to Romulus and Bashir's on this Voyager class ship, and there's this whole plot to like get the Romulans even further into the Dominion War, and they kind of frame this senator.
That does it in the pale moonlight.
It's after that. It's after the pale moonlight. But my point being about that episode was that Admiral Ross, who we think is a great guy and a good guy through most of the series, we later find out that he's kind of in bed with Section 31 too, and they kind of do some dirty stuff together to achieve certain goals that they think are necessary. Anyway, so then we go to the opening sequence. We were kind of just debating the do we like this
of it and
the influences.
And I was saying that I did like the Alexander Courage sting at the end. It's a little bit out of place, but it's still nice.
It feels out of place, really. Like where it goes dun, 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 at the end.
I like it.
You like it,
yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I like it.
It feels, I don't hate it. It's a little riff to the original and the old school stuff. That's all right. So we come out of there. There's this long chat with, like, kind of they're going in the turbo lift. It's Pike, Michael Burnham, and Georgiou. He's like, I heard you were retired. I heard you were retired. She shows the Section 31 badge, as we mentioned. He knows all about it. They head to the ready room. And basically, when they get there, there's a hologram of, what's his name?
Langford?
Leland. Leland is his name. He's like, hey, listen up. You got my agent. You better let her go. She's eating the apple the whole time, being quite cocky and smug about the whole situation.
Yeah, we're wondering where that fruit of knowledge metaphor thing was going.
Yeah.
She just walks in and, it's like...
Eats the apple.
Grabs an apple off of his desk and...
very jauntily decides to bow down.
Yeah, that was interesting. So there were a couple of metaphors. Is it the fruit of knowledge? Is she the serpent?
Yeah, is she just evil?
What kind of biblical ties in with the apple? Or is it just like that episode there, even in the Star Trek reboot, or the 2009 Chris Pine one, where he's doing the simulation, the Kobayashi Maru? He's just eating the apple the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think there was a whole, even on the director's commentary, they said, people are just a lot more cocky when they're eating an apple while they're in the scene. It's just like it just kind of presents this relaxed feeling that everything's going to work out for them all right.
She dropped the apple too.
Well, she was getting ready to throw down.
So they're dismissed. She's free to go, even though she totally evaded the ship and she they almost got herself killed and all this other
no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul, apparently. And so Georgiou says, "Oh well, Pike doesn't even know who I really am." They put this whole plot device in that she can't even tell Pike who Georgiou is. She can't tell Pike about the mirror universe or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah.
That's strictly secret.
Yeah.
She'll be breaking that rule soon.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Then we get back to Stamets. He's studying the cocoon, trying to find, is Tilly in there? He finds nothing. Figures out Tilly's probably alive somewhere in the network.
Because there's nothing of Tilly left.
There's nothing of Tilly left. So if there's nothing, well, I could have just ate her, or,
Could have just really liked its food.
but he's certain. No, she's been transported, just like a transport. They make this. It's like a transport pad. They say.
Yeah.
She's been transported to this other dimension. Why is the cocoon still breathing and moving and
Because it was still connected to the other one on
the other side? So it's kind of like a door, right?
Still active.
Yes.
It's kind of like in StarCraft in the game. You ever play that game?
I have never played StarCraft.
So there's this race called the Zerg, and they have this whole thing where you can they can create like they're an organic kind of a species, like whatever. Anyway, they can create like doorways like that. Yes, portals, basically.
Well, the spore people seem to make things out of organic matter, break it down, remake it. So it makes sense that it be something organic and would have to have some kind of biological component in order to last.
I guess, yeah. I'm okay with this. This didn't bother me too much. So this was decent. But then, so we get Tilly. She is alive. She's been transported to this other dimension. They call it a dimensional plane.
Is that what it is? It's a dimension?
They call it a dimensional plane. That was specifically their language for it. But even though she gets there, okay, she's covered in the goo, and
Very nonplussed about the goo.
yeah, she's kind of covered in all that. She's been through a messy day, basically. But okay, so this world, there's gravity there, there's air there, there's light there, but it's supposed to be this huge dimension,
Yeah.
as well.
Okay, but are there planets? Like what is it?
I think it's a large sort of just field of
Just
things. I don't think there's discrete areas. It didn't
Is it
seem
like
that way anyway.
subspace? Is it kind of like a different? I don't know. I don't really understand the science fiction of it, but
I think because the inspiration for it is fungi. The whole thing is one giant fungal network, right? So it's something that actually lives on, well, not necessarily one dimension, but it's not like a universe or a solar system. You know,
Right.
like there are large fungal organisms, on Earth that are, tens of miles wide, and I think that's kind of what this is.
kind of like remember when Troy got caught and there was that those flat creatures, and they were carrying the ship, and no one could see them.
The two-dimensional. When she lost her
empathic abilities, so no one could see these creatures. So that was kind of like a different plane of existence.
Or like the wormhole aliens, the prophets from Deep Space Nine.
So this is still in our universe, but just slightly
outside
something
of
different.
different plane of existence.
Yeah.
Different plane of existence in our universe.
Yeah.
It may have been one of those areas that Wesley Crusher was going to investigate with the Traveler.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to different planes of existence. I think they were going to. This might have been one of the planes they were going to. She wakes up. They kind of have a little fight. She's not. May's there, by the way. We get more of May and the silly Tilly relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She's not happy that she's been kidnapped. She's pretty angry about it. But she gets her to agree to. There's a monster that's destroying our world. Help me kill this monster. So she's like, sure. What else do we got to do today? But one thing was that the spores attack her and try to burn her skin. So
Because they have to break her down because she's different matter.
right, and they attack in the same way they attacked the ship
And Culber.
and Culber, which we'll get to. Culber's on this bad.
Oh, sorry.
Nah,
Spoiler alert.
if you probably already watched the episode if you're listening to this.
I think so.
But so it kind of attacks it like an antibody, right? Would
Yes.
So you're kind of a
That
for-
was
That's the analogy.
that was the analogy they used at the end in the Grey's Anatomy sum up.
So it attacks you, but it also attacks the hull of the Discovery once it kind of beams in, right? It tries to.
Oh
eat-
yeah.
Right.
Goes right at it. It needs a new paint, man.
Yeah, so he says, well, tritanium's not their favorite food, but presumably it's more of their favorite food than humans, because then humans would just be dead if they were...
Although May seems to exert some kind of local control.
Right. So-
Because she can call off her bugs.
yeah, it was one bites her, and then she's like, hey, don't eat Tilly. Silly
then-
Tilly.
But then can't do anything about the mass of them attacking the ship.
Right.
And these are sentient like May? Like, is this what we're saying? Like, they're all...
She refers to them as a civilization.
Yeah, there's some kind of a life form. Yeah, they have their own intelligence and culture, I would assume.
And it seems discrete culture as opposed to like, more of a hive mind thing. No.
Okay, so that brings us into Act 2, where we have Pike talking to Burnham, informing her that, we have a Section 31 liaison coming in.
Yes.
This is so contrived that we need a Section 30. And guess who it is?
Whoa.
It's Ash Tyler / Vok. He's back. He's not too happy. He's less happy about it than her. She's kind of like, he's a good guy. And, he's like, he did kill Culber, right?
Yeah, Pike is not having him.
Yeah, he's not too happy. And then he's like, and he's also a Klingon. And she's like, well, he's actually kind of not the Klingon guy anymore. He's like, even if I want to make that distinction, he's kind of shady, and he's working for the shady people, and I'm not too pleased with this whole situation. But it's kind of contrived in the sense we need to bring Ash Tyler back to Discovery somehow, and this was kind of the method they went about to do it.
But for no real permanent reason, because he's got to go back to Section 31 at some point.
Yeah, he's just there on loan.
Yeah.
Why? But why?
Why do they need a liaison?
To Section 30, I don't know.
Why doesn't what's his name? The other guy, Leland. Why doesn't he need a liaison from Pike's ship?
Discovery.
Considering they're supposed to be searching together, and they have fancy holograms and communication devices.
This seems unnecessary, but
yes.
Whatever.
Is it because of the 7 signals?
Well, it's in the search for Spock. Oh, sorry, that's another one.
Search for Spock and the Red Angel and,
yes.
and the 7 red dots in the sky.
And the 7 red dots.
It seems like they're putting a lot of resources and a lot of effort into this mysterious signal when they don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Spock's the only one. They've got new intelligence. That was part of that thing with Cornwall.
Just on this whole chat between Ash Tyler and Michael Burnham, he's like, remember when I had to leave Kronos? His Klingon pronunciation is starting to break down.
He was remembering when he was wearing the rubber face. That's what that was. It's like maybe it wasn't the rubber face mask that made them sound like mush mouths.
We come over here. Stamets has a plan to get Tilly out. He knows how to get her out. He gives his whole explanation to Pike. This is the most logical, most conceived thing I think in the whole episode in some ways, because Stamets comes up with a plan. He presents it to the captain. I'm like, I get it. Pike gets it. Like, we're gonna kind of flip halfway into the network, and this is we're gonna be able to kind of pinpoint where the other end of this cocoon canal gateway, so that we can find Tilly. And then Pike gives quite an uplifting speech here. Starfleet is a promise. I give my life for you. You give your life for me, and nobody gets left behind.
There's a lot of speechifying in this episode.
Like, that's one of the big jobs of the captain is just to give the speech.
True.
And get the whole team riled up.
Yeah.
Because really, the captain doesn't really do much. Like, he just kind of tells everyone else what to do.
He sets the tone.
He or she sets the tone. And so I like this Pike. I like this version of him. I like this actor. I like it. I think what he's bringing to the table is good. I think he's it's kind of what this show needed, was like kind of a leader on this bridge. And obviously, like, Lorca was not that as well, because Lorca turned out to be a villain. Mm-hmm. And like, Saru's not really that to me, and none of the other characters have kind of established themselves as the leaders to me yet. Not yet, at least.
Do you think they're going to keep them?
No.
Mm-hmm. No,
they can't.
They can't.
Yeah. He's got to go back to his ship at some point. The question is whether or not Saru gets...
Like, if the show or what? If the show keeps going for a third season and whatever, I think there will be a new captain next year. And this will be kind of their thing, is that there's
captain of season.
There's kind of a new captain it's kind of like in Harry Potter, where we get a new professor against the defense against the dark arts every year, every movie. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Get to the point where somebody's, potential captain number 2 goes, "What ship? No thanks."
Yeah.
Or, "I really only want to be captaining for a year or so. Let's go for it."
Discovery.
Yeah, well, he's technically still the captain of the Enterprise. The Enterprise is just being repaired right now. Yes. So this is kind of his vacation.
He's on contract?
He's on contract.
Or loan?
He's on loan. He's looking for... the search for Spock continues.
The search for Spock, yes.
He was doing it before Kirk.
I still find the fact that the Enterprise is out of commission suspect.
And why that happened.
Why that happened just to them at the right time. I still think something's up with that. We're going to find something out about that.
You also get the whole tachyon thing. I'm hoping the time travel MacGuffin doesn't come up, but like, if you've got somebody going in from the future to screw with the Enterprise so that you put Pike in the right spot at the right time.
They do this little flip thing where the ship is halfway into the universe. So Tilly and May see it right away. There's a little bit of bickering on that, but Tilly solves it all with the pinky swear. That's all been, she earns.
What are you doing with your tiny finger?
What are you doing with your tiny finger? Sure. And so they end up they pretty much go right into the ship, right?
Yes, in an access port that makes no sense at all. It's like on the middle of the ring on the saucer. Where would there be a door there?
Yeah, they find a door that takes them into the ship, right?
Very conveniently placed door.
I was like, I guess, like this extra dimensional dimension where it's got like an oxygen nitrogen atmosphere that Tilly can kind of survive in, and it's warm enough for her, and a whole bunch of other things. There's, I don't know. We'll move on. It's fine. It's fine.
Or you can live long enough to grow your hair and a beard with no food and
no food.
No food.
Because it's been months, right? It's been months since.
Yeah, ostensibly, yeah, it'd have to have been. Well, there was at least 6 months of growth on that face.
Yeah, because remember, because they go to the mirror universe after he died.
Yeah,
and then when they come back, they've been like, "Whoa, we've been gone for 9 months." They were that was kind of like the war's been gone much worse in the time since we left, and da 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 da. I thought Tilly was very funny. They go get the phaser rifle because they're hunting the monster, and she's like, "This is a Type 3 phaser. It's what is it? Genuinely larger and more powerful than the Type 1 or the Type 2." Yeah. I was like, that's a good line. I like that.
Yeah. I like that they kept a little bit of the design from the original ones. Looked like there was 3 barrels on it.
Yeah,
I
didn't notice that.
And there was like a grill down the side, so it's like they're bringing in some small design elements from the original props to sort of give a little bit of a lineage.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah, have a little bit of that DNA in there.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. That was all good. They Stamets and Michael, they meet up with Tilly and May. There's a little bit of exchange there, and they said, "We're hunting the monster. Come on, it's over here." They hear the groan. And
the previously silent monster is now very loud.
Yes, because the monster is inside the ship too, right? And
through the convenient door.
Yeah, they through the convenient door. They mentioned that the monster started off as a surge of energy, and then they reconstituted
and then tried to eat him. This is where I go, what?
They were losing me a little bit. Like, I was watching this late last night, and I was like, I don't know about this, but okay, sure. It turns out, anyway, it's Hugh Culber. He's alive.
He's alive.
He's looking kind of vagranty. He's not looking
very vagranty. Yes.
Yeah, he's had a rough year, roughly. I think it's at this point we can say it's safely been almost a year since he died.
Yes. Mind you, time might not move the same way in the mycelial network as it does outside.
Yeah, let's say it doesn't. They said that every time that the Discovery passes through the network, that this monster, who's Culber, has been pursuing the ship. So presumably he's in the network, and I
missed that part.
Yeah, he sees the ship like flip around, and so he runs after it, and then like he sees it again at another time, and
so that would imply that the mycelial network, the actual area of habitation, is quite small.
Right. It's not as vast as maybe we think it is. It's actually a
but it's everywhere.
But it's everywhere. But maybe it's in space and time relation to one another.
Yeah, the scale doesn't necessarily have to equate.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's bigger on the inside.
It's bigger on the inside. It's like Doctor Who.
It's the TARDIS.
Or it's smaller on the inside, I suppose.
No.
In this case. So what did you think about Culber being back in general? When you first saw the reveal, what were your feelings on this?
I was pissed that they killed him to begin with. So, and knowing that they were bringing him back, it was just nice to have.
Yeah, I was. Well, yeah. In the same way, I was like, well, we need a medical officer on this ship, and
they have one.
Yeah, but she's not bringing much to the table. That one.
No, I guess the writers haven't given her much to chew on. But, yeah.
I liked Culber. I thought he was a good doctor. I thought he was a good character. I liked the relationship with him and Stamets is a good dynamic for the show. I was saying like a few episodes ago, like, just bring him back. Like I can't deal with this sad mopey Stamets anymore. We just bring him back and let's move on. Figure out how to do it. They did it. So I got my wish, and I can't complain about that. But they have kind of cured death here a little bit, which is always tough to do. Not the first time.
Is it him? It's not him. It's a clone of him. It's
we'll come to that.
The energy of him.
Yeah, it's the energy of him. But then if you want to go to the clone thing, then you're going right down the rabbit hole on transporters.
Yeah, you're right. They're all clones. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm dead. I'm alive. I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I'm dead.
There was a few things like he's got this black tar goo kind of following him around.
What was that like?
Well, that
wood
that
or
was
something?
what. No, he coated himself in the wood, but the wood is toxic to the spores.
Where'd he get it?
But it seems it's in there somewhere. Because remember, May said, "Don't touch that tree."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I missed that part.
It was quick. I didn't get it on the first watch either. I was like, what?
So there's trees.
There are trees.
Trees.
Yes. And there were flowers. And it's funny. She goes, it used to be a paradise. And I'm looking around and I'm going, they've done quite nice things with the set design. It's pretty right now.
Yeah. Did it used to look nicer and now it looks worse? Or,
you're still doing pretty good.
It's hard to relate exactly how much damage he's actually done to this world or not. She seems to imply it's a lot. And that he doesn't belong there. And
well, they're little tiny people, and he's a big organism.
But they brought him back.
Yeah, they did, and then they tried to eat him.
I don't know what they got some issues, these spore people.
It's the Edgar Allan Poe, I am Legion kind of moment there.
Even if they reconstituted him, how did he get the clothes?
Well, he got pulled over with the clothes on him.
But not his Starfleet clothes.
Yeah, no, he had his medical uniform on. Now, it was all dark and black and half-eaten by the time you saw it, but he was still
wearing it.
He was still wearing it.
Oh, okay.
Which, leads to more questions for when he comes back.
Why does he not come back with those on?
and as I said when I said it, he came back pretty.
Shaved.
Shaved and showered.
Yeah.
Haircut.
Yep.
And then is this really him? I guess everything in the episode leads us to believe that it is.
Yeah.
So, or it's as close as you can get.
Without getting into the sticky metaphysical questions of, Stamets' life and death and a soul, and Stamets got to him after he was dead.
Well,
yeah.
Where is Culber's original body?
Like jettisoned and
probably.
Yeah.
Photon torpedoed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
but Burnham was like, our previous to Pike. Like Pike would have absolutely no reason to know who Culber was, but she was like, our medical officer, like he was still on the ship somewhere in cold storage or something. Like it was a bit weird.
Yeah, he kind of goes, oh, guess what? We found Culber here, and he's alive, and he goes, that's weird, and
yeah.
Whatever. Okay, he's back. I got my wish. He's back.
He's back.
This whole episode was about bringing Culber and Ash Tyler back to the cast and reintroducing them into the dynamic of the crew. That's fine, I guess.
My wife was very happy when they brought him back, because she was upset too when they killed him.
Oh yeah.
Oh really? Yeah. Hey, he's back. So then Burnham, reports this to him. Whatever. They're trying to figure out the whole situation with him.
Yeah, because Stamets, he's taken off at this point. Culber's taken off, and Stamets has gone after him while Burnham's giving the update
to Pike.
Yeah.
And Tyler gets the update. He's like, "Oh, that's
doubly awkward."
Yeah, this is kind of awkward.
I thought I was uncomfortable when I saw Stamets. Now I'm really not feeling this.
Because he's still the same guy who did that.
Yes.
Nothing's really changed about him. Like, still.
So you're not dead? Are we good?
They then turn it up. Hey, the myceliums are attacking the ship. We're running out of time. The clock's ticking. Whatever. And then so Tyler uses the comm badge.
Yes. What the hell is that?
What the hell? This is so out of theory for Pike. He couldn't even imagine that a communicator could be put into a badge.
They can travel at warp, but little tiny communication devices
Like, we can do
What?
that now with Bluetooth and different...
Yes.
Oh,
But
future Dave.
although I will say the communicators they have now are a pretty nice hybrid between like the cage or menagerie communicators and something that looks relatively modern, like with the bigger gold flip up.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it closely. It just looks like they're using a phone or whatever.
Right, they look like TOS, not quite TOS communicators, but they're like larger, a little bit larger, but they're not as old fashioned looking as the ones in the first pilot.
Right. Yeah. You go back and look at that original pilot, and it's like, burp, burp, like it's like it looks like it's gonna fall apart. It looks like it's put together with chicken wire,
and it's really quite large.
It's really quite large. But back in like 1965, whoa,
yes.
He's talking to somebody on just a little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the idea of a cell phone back then was quite revolutionary. So he calls in his Section 31 friends, who turns out they're in a holographic meteor, and they fly over. And they've been there the whole time, presumably.
Watching. Being all creeper-like.
What did we think about this? What do you think about this Section 31 ship, Jane?
I thought it looked cool. Looks like half a ship, though, or something.
It looks small.
Mm-hmm.
I think we compared it to the Oberth class before.
Yes. Yeah, because it's got that larger area to the bottom. So not quite a secondary hull, but same kind of form factor almost. Except it's got the funky nacelles that sweep up like Voyager.
Yeah, they can move the nacelles. It was an interesting looking ship, I suppose. We saw the bridge of it, I think, in the last episode a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and this one too, but it's like I think it's actually the kind of the bridge that Brian Fuller wanted for Discovery because it's 2 stories.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So that's what he originally envisioned.
That's what he wanted for Discovery. Yeah, before the execs went, that's too much money.
Yeah, we can't afford stairs and things like that.
Yes. So, but it seems like somebody got their wish in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying, okay, we're gonna try to help you now. We'll throw our tractor beams on and try to pull you out of this situation.
Yeah, which were like it wasn't like tractor beams that need to be sent out like probes to attach, and then you can connect.
That was a new effect. I was like, whatever, sure. Maybe they have a different tractor beam on the Section 31 ship. I'd imagine they would keep all the cool tech for themselves.
Well, it looks like they do. Like even if you looked at the background of the Section 31 bridge, like there were like areas where you had sort of like organic flowing energy stuff behind glass and that kind of thing. So Section 31 definitely has all the cool toys.
They have the comm badges.
They have the comm badges.
What the hell is that? So Stamets follows Culber. They have this talk. They talk about their third date, their night at the Met in New York City. He kind of earns back Culber's trust, and they embrace. And then May shows up and wants to kill him. Then they eventually, come up with this. They kind of get her to stand down, and they kind of go, "Well, how is it?" This is where they explain how
more talking.
How did he actually come back to be in life? They explain that after he died, while Stamets was in and out of the network and kind of not all his marbles at that point. So remember, he would get the foggy eyes in that episode and whatever. That somehow after Culber died, his tear
the kiss
was
Culber's tear. Stamets' kiss.
That absorbed into him, which then transported into the mycelial network, and then they reconstituted him on the other end.
Yes, not the fact that he was touching him with his hands or anything like that. Just with the lips.
Just with the lips. It's all about the face and the lips and
expression of love.
That's all of your essence of who you are is in that.
And it was at that point that my wife dropped an F-bomb and said, "Get back to the engine room already, for Christ's sake."
I don't know. We have to just kind of accept that. Yeah, this is how they're choosing to bring him back to life. Whatever. Yeah. It's as if this is how you're going to do it. It's as good of a way as
not going to make sense.
It's love. It's love transcends all things. That's okay. I can deal with that.
Yeah, so they say, okay, come on, Culber, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go through the doorway. We have the doorway in the engineering, whatever. They get him there. He can't cross through. He puts his hand out, and it's almost like it's like in the holodeck where you put your hand out if you're hologram and you can't cross that threshold, right? So because he was and she explains, May explains, our matter is not your matter, therefore they can't exist in both places.
Because they made him there.
They made him there.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
But didn't the ship
I literally wrote down, how did he get that shirt then? But whatever the shirt he was wearing, but it was his uniform.
Yeah. I think they made him entire. Like the whole thing.
So it wasn't just his tear and his kiss, but also the cloth he was wearing. I don't know. He should have shown up naked in both places. That's all I'm saying.
But he was clothed when Stamets brought him over because it was mycelial Stamets that cradled him.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
But why can Tilly go there? Why?
Because Tilly got reconstituted.
Okay. Then why was Michael be able to go over?
Because they were stuck in the thing.
The rules of this. The
airlock that they had, right?
Because they went through the airlock.
Yes, because they went through the airlock.
The airlock was
the
like the cocoon.
Yeah, their version of it.
Okay. Yeah.
The rules of this mycelial network world are very, I don't know, inconsistent.
This is going more fantasy than sci-fi.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So when we feel like, what did you feel like that Culber wasn't going to be able to cross over at this point? Because there's kind of like Stamets, I'm not giving up on you. I can't leave you twice. All this kind of thing where
I thought he was going to stay actually until Tilly, of course, saved the day. I thought he was actually going to stay and try and figure it out.
Stay with him.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I thought that as well. Okay, it's done. They're going to eat. You can let him eat them up. And
that didn't occur to me that could have happened. But I guess that would.
No, I love that. Great, you stay.
Yeah. I was like, they can't leave Stamets over there. He's a main cast member.
You thought Stamets was going to stay there?
I
didn't think that.
Yeah. Well, I knew eventually they would figure it out. However, it happened to get done, right? Yeah.
Tilly, they figure out, like, Tilly says to May, like, there must be some way to send him back through the cocoon or whatever. She pleads with May, and May's like, well, maybe if you did this or you did that, blah, 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 some technobabble talk. And then they have another pinky swear. And
because they can't. If they get rid of the cocoon, Tilly can't come back, yet they're standing at an airlock that allows them to pass from one state to the other.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I can't imagine Pike going, oh yeah, let's do that to the ship again. But it's not like an insurmountable barrier.
Yeah, because Tilly's like, we'll find a way. Or like,
yeah,
you have a way. Yeah.
What do you think of this relationship
this
relationship between May and Tilly?
I don't understand it. How they got so close, so
well, she was living inside her head.
Yes.
Yeah.
She knew all her thoughts.
She was a goop inside her.
Yeah.
Parasite of sorts.
Well, she wasn't feeding up her.
No.
So
more of a passenger.
Yeah. Let's be more charitable and say yes, passenger.
So they basically so Section 131 pulls Discovery out. They've made it back. Pike goes to engineering. And he says, Tyler, you're not coming with me. You stay on the bridge. He's still throwing shade at Tyler at this point. He's not happy with Tyler.
No.
And this is when they are able to bring Stamets, Stamets is able to bring Culber back through the cocoon.
Well, he's hoping.
He's hoping. We're hoping this will work, but
yes.
we're pretty sure it's going to work. And so the cocoon dissolves, and then we get Culber back. He's clean shaven. He's been showered, as we mentioned.
He's naked.
He's naked.
Showered, shaved, and
sees bum.
Yes. Yeah. That would be the
scene
of nudity that they warned us about.
I noticed the nudity part in the warning.
Yes.
Like, where's the nudity?
I
was excited about that.
I know. I actually last night I watched it. They're like, this show has scenes of nudity, and Star Trek almost never does.
No.
I think last season though, didn't they have like when they went to the Orion Sex Palace on Kronos? Didn't they have like a couple shots of some bums? I want to say some Orion bums. Maybe.
I'm sure there was some floss involved that technically made it not nude.
Yeah. So hey, he's back. Culber's back. Yay. That's great. And so then Pike goes over to Section 31. They meet up with Cornwall. She kind of like a mom yelling at her two kids, like, you two need to get along. We're all on the same team here, and hey, what's his name? Leland. Hey, Leland, you should have been. You were just standing there while they were, almost gonna be killed. And
don't be a dick. That's pretty much what she said.
You don't be a dick, and hey, you Pike, you don't be a dick either. And so there's kind of that. They have this whole. I guess Section 31, they are the Saints of Imperfection. Is that what the title of the episode refers to? The Saints of Imperfection is what this episode is called. And this is the only thing I could figure that this is what this is referring to, that Section 31 is somehow a necessary evil of some kind or something.
Yeah. Are they imperfect?
Definitely.
Yeah. Are they saints?
Well, I mean, they've gone to pains to show that Georgia will go out of her way to help them too, right? So, like, even though Burnham wants nothing to do with her, so, I mean, whether or not we're going to have that whole ulterior motive thing in the end, it does seem like, she's an evil fairy godmother.
Yeah, she's kind of an anti-hero.
Oh, definitely an anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like they say that Section 31, Cornwall says Section 31 is essential to nation
building. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm sure that the old school Trek fans will just have a conniption fit over that kind of thing, because that is certainly not the utopian Roddenberry vision. No. Prime Directive is the Prime Directive, and you don't nation build. Yeah. You explore, you meet, you go on your way. Yeah, I
don't know. This I'm a little on the fence about this too. It's after this whole speech though that Pike kind of changes his tune on Tyler. He's like, you know what? How does this go? Official liaison. Tyler's coming over here. Like, this whole speech turns him around on Tyler so well.
I don't know if it turned him around on Tyler. I think he realized that he did not want Philippa Georgiou on his ship. It was like both of them, him and Cornwall, were like, that is not a good idea.
Yeah, but he thinks Georgiou is a good person, right? Like, so.
Oh, he knows there's something up there.
Yeah, just from her eating the apple.
Well, no, I mean the whole, it's a completely different personality, right? Like, he said to Burnham, this is not the person that I knew, right? And she tries to cover to say that the war changed her. Well, becoming Klingon cold cuts changed her, and
she's just kind of
got somebody
cold and distant. She's not really that she wasn't setting off red flags if I was him.
Well, the innuendo and the slightly wicked playfulness, about enjoying the ride and that kind of thing. It's being invigorating. That was it. There's just because he goes back in the saddle, and Pike says to her, and she's throws back the sort of sultry, I find the ride invigorating.
It sets off Pike's cowboy senses.
Yes, he's certainly not feeling the because the Prime Universe Georgiou was a very straight-laced person. It seems, anyways, from the 2 episodes that she was in, kind of thing.
An episode and a half that we got out of her.
So Pike definitely would not know about the mirror universe or anything. No one else knew about.
But everybody else on Discovery does.
Well, yes, because they were there.
They were there for a while.
You gotta wonder if, what happens when Pike walks into the mess hall and somebody's going, "Do you remember the time Lorca?" What? He's back.
Yeah, he knows that Lorca betrayed them.
Yes.
And that's about it. Like, he doesn't know where they were for 9 months.
Giant hole there.
Yeah.
Everybody, even Tilly knows about the Mirror Universe.
Yeah. Tilly was the badass of the badass in the Mirror Universe.
Yeah, but she's
Killy. What was it? Killy?
Tilly.
Captain Killy. Yeah.
Captain Killy.
Even the guy who cleans the washrooms and like whatever, whoever
Would know.
Yep.
would know about all this.
Yes.
But not him.
Not him. Not him.
Not the acting captain.
And not this new security chief who we see in this episode,
No.
who was introduced in the first episode. She was wearing the red shirt,
Yep.
and now we've seen she's a Barzan, like from the Bars.
Barzan,
You know the Barzan wormhole,
Yeah.
the one with the Ferengi got
Yep,
trapped.
yep,
in.
yep,
Yeah, so she's from that same race. So
Yeah.
we had this whole speech with the Leland and Culber, no, sorry, Leland and Pike and Cornwall.
That scene though just made me feel like, where is the show going?
Well,
Like,
it was the
are
setup,
these the
I think.
leaders? Are these like the main people of the show? Like, I guess I'm just used to having a captain. You know, it's just I don't know. I feel like it's kind of all over the place. And like,
Yeah.
okay, so this is the command structure. Are these the main people that we're concentrating on now, or
In terms
or
of
no? I don't like
For this season.
for this season.
Like
For
the
this
main
half
cast
season.
members are it's Stamets, it's Saru, it's Tilly, it's Michael Burnham.
Yeah. As they slowly try and bring up some of the other bridge officers.
Yeah, these other
Yeah.
background characters.
Introduce them again.
Robot Eye gets a few more lines here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there, and then there's Robot Girl.
Bryce, the communications officer, is actually almost a person now.
Yeah, they're giving them.
Yeah.
They're starting to flesh them out a little bit. They're all these Canadian cast that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Battlestar Galactica. There was a whole bunch of like background characters who weren't like main cast in that, but they were just because that show was also done in Canada, and like over time, those characters became more important. By the end of Battlestar Galactica, the guy who just was in charge of bringing coffee to Adama on the bridge, he was all of a sudden like having more to do in the show because there was like not as many people left. And that was that show in particular, but
there was attrition going on.
there was attrition.
Lots of attrition.
They would put it on the title sequence in every episode. Oh yeah, we're down to like 31,252 people now, or whatever.
Let's introduce you to 3 more.
So anyway, Section 31 and Discovery, they're going to work together to find Spock. Tyler and Culber are back. Mission accomplished. We got the gang back together. Burnham receives this hollow message from Georgiou. They have a little bit of talk. They still don't. Well, Michael doesn't trust her more so, but Georgiou's like, you know what? I'm not so bad. I'm helping out. I helped you out in this situation, right? And there's this whole skepticism that's continuing, but their relationship they did eat a kelpie together. Let's not forget. And
Yeah, I was like I said, at some point soon, I'm hoping that Georgiou runs into Saru and asks him, notices that he's now missing his tasty bits.
Oh, his ganglia.
His threat ganglia are gone.
yeah. Well, in Burnham, when she throws it back at Georgiou, she's like, "What about the frog and the scorpion?" Like she tells that story of the scorpion hopping on the back of the frog, which I believe when Chakotay told it to Janeway, it was a fox and a scorpion. I believe
Oh no, it's gotta be small.
Yeah,
it's gotta be a
'cause
little
it's gotta go
small
across the stream.
on
Yeah.
top of the scorpion.
You think so? No, I know it's a scorpion, but the question is, what's the animal in question that needs to get across the stream?
Oh no, yeah, you're right. The scorpion gets a ride.
With
Yes.
I think in the Voyager version of the story,
fox.
it's a fox.
Oh, really?
I think, and I believe in the in this version it's a frog. It doesn't really matter. Just a little note there.
Either way, it's coming to a sticky end.
Yeah. Well, I get the metaphor, but hey, and Georgiou is here. It just announced that she's getting her own Section 31 spin-off show. We get this.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Which will probably be a lot of fun, but not very Star Trekky.
But in this world.
Yes.
Yeah, like I like the actress who plays her is what's her name? Michelle
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's good.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she's great in the role. She's
enjoying the scenery chewing.
I think she likes playing this evil version much more than she liked playing the good Georgiou from the first 2 episodes, who was more by the book and more of a straight-laced kind of a captain. So hey, like I'm intrigued, but I don't know, a whole series. I think that's asking a lot, but hey, let's give it a shot. I'm all about more Star Trek. Give me more Star Trek, even if some of it's bad. I'm always gonna call.
I'm kind of with you on that. It's like you just need some Trek in my life.
They show a scene of Culber in sickbay. He seems to be good. We got Pike studying the Red Angel. He's kind of trying to figure out this mystery, that we don't know where it's going whatsoever. But hopefully it's going to pay off. I keep saying this every episode. And then we have Tilly and Burnham. They're still sharing the room, even though.
Even though she's got her rank back,
she's got her rank back. She could have her own room, but she just likes hanging with Tilly. And even though didn't she complain about Tilly snoring in last season? I think that there was some, but she doesn't care. She's still gonna bunk with Tilly, and it's all good. And then we get the voiceover out, the Grey's Anatomy voiceover out with Burnham.
Now, okay.
Where everything gets all bright and golden.
No, was she guiding hand?
She muses on the universality of the choice of paths we must all make. Then she gets back to the bridge. Her and Tyler have this little... I don't even understand what Tyler's job is to do there. Just to stand there?
Liaison.
He's liaising.
What does that mean?
It means he gets to use his fancy comm badge every once in a while.
He gets to call the other ship?
Yeah.
That's it?
I still can't understand why Georgiou and Section 31 are so interested in Spock anyways, right? Like, I know there's the whole he's the only one that knows anything about the red things, but...
So when Michael was her voiceover, like, she was talking about a guiding hand and all of that, and they show the Red Angel, I would just felt like she's talking about God for a bit. And then, like, do they think the Red Angel is God? Like, I don't know. Something
what does God need with a starship?
Exactly. Thought about that, too.
But there is a benevolent... what could possibly be a benevolent force to it, because they show up and take those people out of World War III and transport them to another. So I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, that might have been a turning point in human history kind of thing, and they were like it could go one way or the other, because they say it shows up at times of great strife and stuff, right? So it's like pulling out little bits and almost like making an arc kind of thing.
I pointed this out a few episodes ago, but it's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of that Richard Gere episode or movie, The Mothman Prophecies.
I haven't seen it.
And the Mothman would show up like when there's going to be a big disaster or something kind of crazy that's going to happen. And if this feels a lot like that, I gotta say.
Like I say, I hope we just don't come back to the whole, that this is some kind of time travel thing. It's too much time travel stuff.
Too much time travel. Yeah. Like, overall reactions to this episode and kind of where we are at this point.
I enjoyed watching it for a second time, so
okay.
I gotta go with that's a win.
I'm confused more than ever, but that's okay.
We're right at the midway point, though, I think, in the season, so this is probably the time when we're supposed to be going, what the hell? Because now we're on the downward slope to understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where all the threads are pulled together.
You think of these other shows like, Lost, Game of Thrones, that will do these long mysteries over time, right? And there's, I don't know, I guess at this point I would want to be more like, what the hell is going on? I guess I am a little bit like, what the hell is going on? But
you were definitely, what the hell is going on?
But I also want to be like, I really hope it's good when I finally get there.
You want a payoff.
That's good, though, because that means we actually care. About the narrative, right? And most people are, just like there's this isn't Star Trek, but at least it's actually generating a feeling, like you want to know what's going on, even if you want to make sure what's going on is what you think your version of Star Trek is.
My only issue with it is that it's prequel, so we know it's going to work out, right? So.
Well, you know that the Federation is going to work out and that certain people will live, but you don't know how... Well, I was about to say you don't know how the story of Discovery ends, but because of those damn short treks, we know Discovery's around in, 10,000 years?
I think they said 1,000 years.
Or 1,000 years. Some crazy number, which is why that whole tachyon shit's coming in, actually. Yes, now that I'm remembering that short trek, then... Yes, there's going to be some kind of time travel thing going on.
Who's that? Cornwall references the tachyons.
The tachyons, yeah.
So maybe the ship just ends up in the future for a while and comes back.
Yeah.
So tachyon could be time travel. She said three things. Well, the
time travel,
the
cloaking technology,
or transporter.
Transporter.
They use tachyons too, transporters?
Apparently. Tachyons are an all-purpose
Isn't that like
particle.
when they set up that grid? Wasn't it a tachyon grid?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
with Data
yeah, yeah.
and the Romulans?
The
to
tachyon
catch
detection grid.
Tasha's
yes.
daughter.
When they were going after
Delivering
when Sela
supplies.
and the Bait or whatever, the Duras sisters, they were working together and all that.
Yes, when all the other Star Trek captains would not take orders from an android.
Oh yeah. They're very
that was
progressive.
the whole, yeah. Now that actually brings up something interesting about Arium. Like, Data's supposed to be the first sentient android. What the hell is Arium then?
Well, apparently, I remember I was watching that After Trek show, that really bad.
I have never watched an after show
don't.
for
anything.
show. No.
Well, like I would say, like if you don't like The Talking Dead, you would hate that show even more.
It's horrible. Horrible.
It was hosted by what's his name, Mark Mira.
I don't know.
Mark Mira. He's from Nerdist, and he does another podcast that I've listened to. He's quite funny and endearing, but I don't think that show is going anymore. I think they only did it for the first season. It was supposed to be like an after show, and they'd bring on the cast and the writers and different people, and they'd talk about the episode. It was not good.
Just forced laughter and
I felt bad for him.
I'm glad I've never watched it.
Yeah, it was tough. It was not good. But I think worth going back to watch just with the train wreck factor of it all.
For the genuine laughter that is elicited from the forced laughter.
Yeah, and people would Skype in. Yeah, they would have Jason Isaacs Skype in from somewhere in England or whatever. It was not good.
You could just tell that he was sitting in his living room going, I can't believe I've got to do this shit.
yeah.
Why did I not see this in my contract?
Yeah, I was Lucius Malfoy. Yeah, I don't know. I there's some things I like about Discovery. I'm starting to like this crew more. I think that they're being quite effective in that sense. And I'm starting to understand who these people are a little more by episode, which is what I want. I want to understand who the crew are, how they relate to each other, and I think with every Star Trek show, that takes at least 2 seasons to really get going.
Oh, yeah. But at least they've actually upped the level of lighting everywhere, too, so you can actually see the ship
people?
now. Yes, and people.
Have they?
Yeah, I think the ambient lighting all through the sets is much higher than it was in season 1.
Yeah, except for the sick bay. That's always been kind of lit.
That's always lit.
Yeah.
It's got to be clean, got to be bright.
Yeah.
But, yeah, everything else seems to be a little more...
I want to know what everyone's job is on this ship. A little more specifically. Okay, Pike, captain.
Yeah.
Saru, first officer.
Yeah.
Burnham, science officer. Robot Eye, Detmer. She's
She's
helmsman.
Helm.
Yeah.
Owayu.
She's con.
Yeah, she's ops.
Ops. Oh, she's ops? Okay.
Then you got
Bryce, who's communications.
Bryce, and then who's the security officer? No, okay, so the security officer is this new, whatever her name is.
Barzan.
The Barzan.
The Barzan, yeah.
And then
There's an Asian dude.
Yeah, what's his role?
I don't know.
I think he's Pike tells him to charge the weapons or something.
Oh, so he might be the tactical officer.
He might be just filling in over there or something like that.
Well, you can have a head of security and next gen head of security was the tactical officer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way.
Oh yeah, and we got off. I went on a tangent there, but the woman that appears to be an android, but she's not an android. They mentioned on that After Trek show last year that she's just a cybernetically enhanced human.
That's a lot of enhancements.
It's a lot of enhancements,
Yeah.
but some people go full.
What's her name again? You said it?
Arium.
Arium.
Yeah, apparently they're going to really flesh out her backstory.
Yeah. We haven't had much at all from her.
She will be very interesting, we're told.
But her job on the ship is to help run the spore drive in some way.
So maybe she's like an engineering officer, because that's the one thing we don't really have in the show. Like you got Jet Reno, who's the engineer from Hiawatha, but there's no Scotty yet. Like Stamets was supposed to be, but
he's not.
He's not.
And Tilly's an engineer as well.
She's sciences.
But she wears operations division.
She does, yes.
And even though Stamets, it said last season he's the chief engineer, he wears the silver,
Science.
which is science division.
Yeah, but he's spore drive.
Yeah,
There's got to be somebody minding the warp engines.
Just the old school traditional warp drive.
Yes, and
Right.
and we don't know who that is.
We
yet.
haven't seen that. We haven't even seen the engine room, have we?
It's apparently the thing you see behind like you get the in the room where they have the
Spore drive?
drive and that
glass box.
Yes, thank you, the glass
Yeah.
box. There's a thing in the back against that back wall. That's apparently
the warp drive?
the warp drive. It's like old TOS warp drive, right, where you see it going down the length of the ship, kind of thing. The horizontal warp drive.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like we saw in Enterprise had that too.
yeah.
Right, like it's not what kind of warp core we think of, which is like
Next gen.
Next gen warp core is up and down,
or even like the Kirk movies, like they had that same style.
But they didn't in Wrath of Khan. No, because when Kirk goes down, oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna. Kirk goes down into engineering to do his inspection, and he gets introduced to Preston, Scotty's nephew. Right, the warp core is horizontal. The core goes all the way down the secondary hull.
Oh yeah, you're right. So it's not until like maybe Star Trek 5 or 6 that we have that. I definitely remember a shot where they have like because they used the next gen sets, so it would have had to have been after next gen debuted. But maybe it was
Excelsior.
I think it was Undiscovered Country, maybe, where they're showing some scenes where they're using the next gen sets just redressed, and I'm pretty sure it was Star Trek 6.
Well, I guess that would make sense because that's the A, whereas Wrath of Khan it was the original Constitution.
That's right.
So not the Enterprise version of the Constitution class.
That's true.
So yeah, maybe they changed it for that. But yeah, horizontal warp course.
Jane's not as big into the warp cores.
I'm not a big ship person.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
go
could-
on
I
the
could-
ships.
Well, like Voyager's Intrepid.
Yes.
Intrepid
Some of them
class.
I can get, but I no, it's not something I
The Defiant, what class is that?
little
Defiant class.
Defiant class. It's its one and only class.
Well, isn't it even the Enterprise refit? Isn't it the Enterprise class? They don't even call it the Constitution anymore.
No, it's still Constitution.
It's still Constitution?
Yeah, it's just Constitution in brackets refit.
Refit.
The refit version.
No, because the Constitution refit version is the motion picture
Yep.
one, but then Enterprise A is another ship.
It's a whole new ship.
It's a whole new ship.
It's still considered Constitution class, apparently. Because at least that's what all the official companion
Manuals
books and things
technical
say.
manuals.
Technical manuals and such things say. Yeah, because I like the different, like Discovery. Did they? That has a class as well. I can't. It's escaping me right now.
Which?
The
the
Discovery
Discovery
itself.
class? Yes, it does. Yeah, I can't remember.
CrossFit class? Crossfield class.
The Crossfield class, yes.
The Crossfield class.
Yeah.
Have they said that in the show, or is this just?
It's like on a plaque somewhere. Or
Yeah,
something.
and dedication plaque. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause every ship has one of those.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next episode is called "The Sounds of Thunder."
Dun, dun, dun.
Will we meet Spock?
Or not.
We get a strike of lightning.
If we meet Spock in the next episode, I bet you it's in the last 3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're really
They're going to milk
making
this
us
one.
wait for this.
there's been so many times we think it's going to be Spock when Amanda Grayson beamed in. No, it wasn't.
No.
No. And then in this episode, we got Spock's shuttle finally. He's got to be. Of course, we're going to find Spock on Spock's shuttle, right? Nope.
Nope.
Georgiou.
No.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
And even when we get him, I don't like. I guess they have built this up that I'm going to at least care about this Michael Burnham Spock reunion.
So what do you think she could have done that was so bad? And how old were they when she did this? Because she's still, I'm confused about it, because she's like, she was following me around like a little puppy. So that tells me he was still young.
Young. Yeah, because she was I think she was like 12 when they brought her.
To say they were brother and sister for 2 years, 3 years, and then they didn't talk again. And how are they that close?
My theory is that they had some kind of romance.
Oh, that wouldn't be very Star Trek. Like, that would be bad enough to make it this bad. You know, if she molested him or whatever.
Not
But I don't think they're going to go there.
That was dark.
Yeah.
No, they would be old enough, but they had maybe flirted or something or whatever, and she broke his heart.
Well, but she said she did that because he was being teased because of her, which, I don't know, that seems to me sort of more school-age stuff. But, I mean, in canon, he was always getting teased because he was half human anyways. I mean, how much worse could it get if you've got an adopted human sister?
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the thing that would push things over the edge.
No.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting to see his, what is it, Lamatia in some kind of flashback.
Lamatia?
Yes, his big pet cat that he ran off to the Vulcan.
Right. They mentioned this in.
What happened in the animated series?
Yes,
he ran away.
Yeah. That's right. That's like almost like a time travel episode, right? Or
no,
there was an episode.
Wasn't something else though. That I thought I've seen that in real, like not anime. What was it? Maybe it was anime. Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Any other thoughts before we close this off?
No.
We need to find out what this red angel is. It better not be the Mothman. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And how Spock is connected.
And how Spock's what the heck happened with Spock and Burnham? I guess that's the other big.
Those are the big questions.
Those are the big questions still unanswered.
And to think he's going to have to go through all this shit again when V'ger shows up.
That's right. Oh, and what happened to the Enterprise? That's the other question too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be Enterprise got fixed.
But
Scotty will have showed up. That was a funny little throwaway line from I think the episode before about never meeting an engineer that loved his ship. Like, oh yeah, because the Enterprise engineer was. They were going on about how they all loved their ship, kind of thing. And you could just sort of, it was like a nod to Scotty.
Yeah, but Scotty's not there at that point.
No, he's not there yet. No.
It's only Spock. He's the only one. Like he had been there.
Spock's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's no other long-standing crew members.
No.
On the Enterprise that we know of.
Yes. What was it? Riley? Riley's been there forever.
Oh, right.
Do you think we'll see? Like, do you think in this show we're gonna see Kirk at some point, or any of these other characters pop up?
Well, Kirk's on another ship. He's on the Farragut. Yeah. So probably it'd be like a step too far.
Yeah. Or will we see like I guess I'm McCoy or any of these other characters pop up?
Well, McCoy could pop up.
McCoy
I mean, he's been around long enough. Like, because Kirk's like a snot-nosed lieutenant at this point still. Like, it's still a few years before he gets the step.
Right. Kirk's 3 years younger than Spock. So, so Kirk's roughly, he'd be around a lieutenant probably at this point in his career.
Well, what's the time period for Discovery? How many years before the original series?
Roughly 9.
Roughly 9. So he hadn't taken, and the original series, he'd just taken command for his first 5-year mission, right? So
yeah, he hadn't been captain for very long.
So he might not even be. And
even Spock's just so in the first episode of the original series, Spock and Kirk are kind of new in their new roles. That's what's kind of established. The opening scene in the first episode, which is the one with. That's the one with Gary Mitchell.
Yes.
And the silver eyes.
Yeah, Spock's not even the first officer. I think Mitchell's the first officer in
Yes, and so in the original series, the first officer, they always presented the first officer as just being a department head. So you have like your series of department heads, and one of your department heads would be designated first officer as well. So Gary Mitchell was the pilot and the first officer. And so Spock was the science officer.
Oops.
We're getting an internet call.
Yeah.
Dial up from
dial-up time.
This is time travel. I'm getting a call from 1989. It's coming in at 56K baud.
Yeah. I don't know. So I'm kind of like hoping at the very least they're gonna like show me in this show if I'm gonna get a prequel about Discovery, and if you're gonna make this show about Spock and the Enterprise before Kirk, and at least in part, I want to see kind of what that story was. I want to see how Pike maybe left the Enterprise. How, I know we're many years removed, but it's kind of like maybe that's where this show goes ultimately. It depends how many years it runs for, and if they choose to do. Because you think of it, like, even with Star Trek Enterprise, they were like, well, guess what? We're going to get to this Romulan War, and then we're going to eventually get to the founding of the United Federation of Planets, and then like, hey, guess what? Season 4 is the last season, so we have to like zoom past all that. In the last episode, we'll be Riker and Troy on a holodeck watching like all the stuff we were eventually going to get to.
Yeah. I mean, if they have a 7-year plan for Discovery, then that gets them pretty close. To where
Kirk and Spock pick up. Yeah.
So I also want to know why they forget or stop using the mycelial network. Why that's banned or totally forgotten.
I think because they're establishing that it causes damage.
Harm. Okay.
Yes. So.
And how Section 31 goes underground, but that probably won't happen anytime soon. If it's getting its own series.
No one's even heard of
Section 31.
Well, I don't know if Leland keeps on disposing of the wrong ambassadors. They might have to just sort of like go on the down low for a while.
What was that line? Like George's like, I have some dirt on you.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. So already that sort of the whole Section 31 upper hand thing is like they're already positioning her. He's not long looking for this world. He is looking at his replacement and not seeing it. That is a bad place to be.
Yeah, you're right about that. Okay, well, on that note, I think we're going to close out this episode. Thank you, Tyrone, for joining us on this episode. It's been a pleasure, and we hope you come back. And we'll see you on the next episode where we cover the sounds of thunder. Bom, bom, bom. For all of us, this has been Live Long and Podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Jane.
I'm still Tyrone.
Live Long and Podcast. See you next time.
Thanks.